let's get you the headlines. A ban on the sale of new petrol and diesel cars in the UK is delayed until 2035 as Prime Minister Rishi Sunak shifts his approach on green policies. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tells the UN Security Council that Russia should be stripped of its veto power. And King Charles begins a 3-day state visit to France, including a state dinner in Versailles. Poland's Prime Minister has said his country will no longer send weapons to Ukraine. A diplomatic dispute between Warsaw and Kiev about grain exports has quickly escalated. Poland has banned the sale of Ukrainian grain over fears that large quantities of imports will hurt Polish farmers. President Joe Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have pledged to work together to forge diplomatic relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. The joint declaration followed face-to-face talks between the two leaders at the UN General Assembly in New York. President Biden reiterated his support for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Indian government has introduced a bill guaranteeing a third of seats for women in the lower house of parliament and state assemblies. The contentious bill, first proposed in 1996, has been pending for decades amidst opposition from some political parties. Its revival is expected to boost the governing Bharatiya Janata Party's fortunes in the general elections coming up next year. Syria's President Bashar al-Assad will be heading to China later this week in his first visit to Beijing since the start of his country's 12-year conflict, during which China has been one of its main backers. China has been expanding its reach in the Middle East after mediating a deal in March between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and it continues to support Assad in the Syrian war.